Hello everyone, welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, and in this video we're going to be previewing day 4 of the Punchestown Festival, where I'll be previewing all 8 races, giving you my thoughts and feelings, and hopefully I can give you a few winners for tomorrow. Just reflecting on today, we had a really good day today. We had 2 nice winners. We had Park Paddocks, which I tipped up at 9-1 last night. Also as well tipped up over in the cross country chase, won at 7-2 for us. It was very well backed in the end, got up in a photo finish, and those 2 winners really did well for us today. They covered our costs and a little bit more, so it was a nice day today. Apart from that, nothing else really made the frame for us. We had a few frustrating chances. I thought Deck was a little bit unlucky at the start of the race. He's always a front runner and he was really denied a clear run at the start, so he can be maybe forgiven slightly because he went probably a little bit too soon when he did get a position, and he burnt up probably quite a lot of his energy to get in that position as well. So Deck was a little bit unlucky. Apart from that though, I probably paid going too fast with 14, who was the star of the show today, but I'm not really complaining. We had 2 nice winners, and also as well, if you follow some of my work on the punterspage.com, go and check them out if you haven't done so already. I gave 3 tips and I gave 3 winners, which were Warwick and Perth, so I'm really happy for them. Also as well, that's the best I've ever done from working on the punters page since I've been working with them for a couple of months now, so really pleased with all 3 of my selections coming in there. So go and check them out if you haven't done so already. I'll be giving some tips which I'll be giving them tomorrow morning, which you can go and check out. So that's all I've got to say on that. Enough of me waffling on. We'll get straight into day 4 action, and we're going to be kicking off in the 340 with the first race tomorrow. Now, I thought this one was quite a bit of a tricky race to work out. Not kind of my favourite races to get stuck into, but if I had to have a selection, it would be Das Musa, around about 6-4 bookmakers at the moment, trained by Mark Fahey, and Richard Deegan taking the ride, taking £5 off. This horse won at the festival last year after a very long layoff, and it's going for the same set of circumstances again. Hasn't been seen since that win at Punchestown last year, and going in tomorrow. And I thought really, if it turns up like it did last season at 6-4, I know it's a little bit short, but out of the 2 market principles, he was probably the one for me. If you were looking at the rest of the field, I really didn't fancy anything. I thought it was really hard to really have a strong fancy, but my selection, if I had to go for one in the first race, would be Das Musa. In the second race, a bit more up my street, very competitive handicap, and there'll be numerous bookmakers playing multiple places in this race. I thought Bel Ami De Sivola was the one to be with here. Around about 8-1 bookmakers at the moment, trained by Noel Mead, whose yards have been in very good form in the last few weeks. Sean Flanagan, booked for the ride, very good jockey, underrated as well in my opinion. This horse has got some previous good form at the Dublin Racing Festival with Patrick's Park and Blast of Cumin, who ran a good Punchestown Festival already, so the form of that looks pretty good. Also as well, Bel Ami De Sivola's got some other strong form when it has met Blast of Cumin before. Also as well, it's won at the course before, which I think is always a plus at Punchestown. And for me, at around about 8-1, I thought you would definitely get a run for your money. So that's going to be my selection in the 420. 455, I thought this was quite a weak, hard race to really try and find the winner. One I thought was interesting, and I would give a good mention to, and it's going to be my selection, is Got Away. Around about 11-1 bookmakers at the moment, trained by Oliver Sherwood, British Raider, coming over to Ireland tomorrow. Wouldn't send many horses over to Ireland. Noel Feely booked for the ride, who I thought was an interesting jockey booking. Already had a winner for Willie Mullins at the Punchestown Festival with Draconian, and I thought at 11-1 he was not a bad each way shout. Well, I should say she, because this is a mare's race, but it has some decent form in some listed mare races, beating a good horse of Paul Nicholls called Antarctica Dete. Also as well, was beaten last time out when it was pulled up, but you probably forgive it that day. The run was probably too bad to be true, but it had some good form in that race with Renee's Girl, who ran a really good race at the Aintree Festival. And it's been running in a lot better races than this. In a handicap tomorrow, I thought, carrying a middley weight of 11 stone 3, that it could go really well at a price, and I thought 11-1 wasn't a bad each way bet in the 455 tomorrow. So that's my selection there. 5:30, we're going to see Samcro tomorrow, and I think he will do the job. It's going to be interesting now to see what he can do against the older horses. A lot of Samcro's form has been stacking up. His win in the Ballymore has been franked, obviously, by Blackop winning at Aintree. Also as well, some of his other horses that he's beaten in Ireland this season, with the likes of Good Time Tara, which we tipped up a couple of days ago at the Punchestown Festival, ran a good race at the festival. So a lot of his form is stacking up Samcro. If he is what he say he is, like god, really, in horse terms. He should make mincemeat this. So I thought Melon could be interesting after his very encouraging run in the champion hurdle. I think Samcro, yes, he could be a little bit short at evens when he hasn't done it against the older horses yet. That's the only question mark against him. Trained by Gordon Elliott, who will really want to win the big race tomorrow because he really wants to get back in front of Willie Mullins. Jack Kennedy, booked for the ride, who's already had a winner today, for which we were on with Park Paddocks. Thought he was the one you got to be with there. 6:05, I thought this was a bit more of a competitive, bit more wide open race. One I am prepared to forgive, and I'm going to tip up here, is Duc Des Genievres. Now, round about 13-2 bookmakers at the moment. Thought that was a fair each way bet. This horse came second Samcro at the Dublin Racing Festival. Ran okay in the Ballymore hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival, finishing in 5th place, but then was a disappointing favourite next time out. So hopefully it can be forgiven, that run. And I thought maybe back in a little bit more of a slightly easier race for it. If it can run anywhere near the level of Samcro form, I thought in this race it had a very good chance of at least making the frame and would be a good each way bet. In the 6:40, thought this was a very tricky race to work out. I'm going to go for Caid Du Berlais, trained by Mrs. Rose Luxton, and William Biddock is booked for the ride tomorrow. Very good, capable rider, taking £3 off. Now, last time we saw this horse was in the Fox Hunters at Cheltenham, and I actually backed it that day each way. Numerous bookmakers were playing numerous places, and it finished in a decent place for us. I think we were on it at 14-1, so it's a good old servant for me, and I thought in this race, ex Paul Nicholls horse, it could go very well around about 6-1 and could make the frame. So that's going to be my selection there in the 6:40. 7:10, I'm really strong on this horse. It's called Kuraka. 16-1 bookmakers at the moment. I thought it was definitely overpriced at the moment. Trained by Gordon Elliott, who we've already touched upon. Dennis O'Regan booked for the ride. Hasn't had many rides, or decent rides yet, at the festival. This horse was an easy winner last time over hurdles at Limerick. And if you look at some of its early hurdle form, it's got some very good form with Mr. Adjudicator, who went on to win at the Dublin Racing Festival, ran a really good race in at the Cheltenham Festival in the Triumph Hurdle. So the form of Mr. Adjudicator's worked out well. Also in that race were Pete So High, and there was also another horse of Pat Fahey's who's run a good race. I think it's called Room to Road or something like that, or Room to Rome or something. But the form of that race back at Leopardstown has worked out really well, and I thought at 16-1 this horse was definitely overpriced and could definitely make the frame, and for me it's a cracking each way bet. So that's my selection in the 7:15. The 7:45, last race on the day. Now this one could be a wide open race, but I thought one that was really interesting was a horse called Fontley House, around about 22-1 with bookmakers at the moment, trained by Peter Fahey, who you really want to be backing at the moment. He won with Dunraven today. Also as well, he had a winner for us a few days ago on the first day of the festival with his bumper winner, where we tipped it up at 16-1 with, I think it's called Income River or something like that. But we were on it that day, and it was a really nice performance by Patrick Mullins, and he does very well with his bumper horses. This horse has got an interesting pedigree, closely related to former champion bumper winner, so there's definitely a lot of speed pedigree in its pedigree, also related as well to some other good horses. And I thought 22-1 with that yard in these races doing really well. Richard Deegan booked for the ride, good jockey. I thought 22-1, that was a massive price, and you could definitely go small stakes each way and you would probably get a decent run for your money. So there are my selections for day 4 of the Punchestown Festival. Let us know how you've done today, if you've had a few bets at the festival. So as well, let us know what you fancy to run well tomorrow. Will Samcro turn up and deliver? That's all I've got to say. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I'd like to thank all the new subscribers that have subscribed, so thank you for doing so. Also as well, please follow me on Twitter. That's where, if you want to see my thoughts and feelings on the day's racing, go and follow me on there if you don't do so already. Same name, at LuckyLoaders15. That's all I've got to say. Please gamble responsibly, and we'll be seeing you soon.